You read it correctly. Terrence "Bud" Crawford and Teofimo "the Takeover" Lopez are facing off, not in the ring but in public. Just when you thought 2024 couldn't get any wilder, Crawford threw hands in a surprising turn of events, and this time, it wasn't in a sanctioned boxing match. Crawford is not known for getting involved in street brawls, but this incident was an exception. Somehow, Teofimo Lopez got under his skin, and the altercation escalated quickly, leaving Lopez on the receiving end of Crawford's fury. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's jump right into this explosive episode. Before we dive into the gritty details of this heated exchange, let's set the scene. We all know Terrence Crawford, one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of this generation. The man is undefeated and has just come off a historic win against Errol Spence Jr., solidifying his position as the undisputed king of the welterweights. After some time away from the ring, Crawford made a stunning comeback, brushing off Israel Mav in his next fight, proving to everyone that he is still at the top of his game. If there's a #1 guy in boxing right now, it's Terrence "Bud" Crawford. Crawford reflected on his recent performances, saying, "I felt great. It was no different from fighting at 147 pounds, to be honest. Israel was a strong opponent, we knew that coming in. His right hand wasn't bothering me, though. I wasn't really worried about it. Sure, he landed a couple of shots at the end of the rounds where he was trying to steal them, but I was just trying to counter. He had a good game plan with a lot of feints, and I was trying to predict when he was going to come in. I think my jab was beating him up throughout the fight, but he did manage to land some right hands that might have swayed the judges or fans. This calm, analytical approach to fighting is typical of Crawford, making his recent outburst against Lopez all the more shocking. Now, let's talk about the other man in this story, Teofimo Lopez. Known as the Takeover, Lopez has made quite a name for himself by dethroning some of the best in the lightweight division. He's brash, he's bold, and he knows how to keep his name in the spotlight. Most notably, Lopez handed Vasyl Lomachenko, one of the most technically skilled boxers, his first loss. Although Lopez later stumbled against George Kambosos Jr., he showed that he was still very much in his prime and prepared to go to war. After all, boxing is not just about wins and losses, it's about how you bounce back. Lopez has a knack for getting under his opponent's skin, and he's not afraid to call out anyone, no matter their status in the sport. All these pound-for-pound guys in my division, they're quiet. They don't want to fight Teofimo again because of what I did. I'm just going to keep putting it on them every time, he declared. Whether you love him or hate him, Lopez knows how to keep the public's eyes on him. I'm going to make those fights happen, he added, hinting at his intentions to go after the big names in boxing. So, how did these two giants end up clashing outside the ring? The drama unfolded at the main event between Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. Both Crawford and Lopez were in attendance to show support for their fellow fighters. Everything seemed normal until things quickly took a turn for the worse. It all began with an exchange of words between the two, with Lopez reportedly making some disparaging remarks about how Crawford wouldn't stand a chance if they were to fight at that moment. Witnesses say the verbal sparring escalated when Lopez made an inappropriate comment about Crawford's family. That was the breaking point. Normally, Crawford is a calm and composed fighter, known for letting his fists do the talking inside the ring. But in this instance, something snapped. Without warning, Crawford swung at Lopez, catching him off guard. Security immediately intervened, preventing the situation from escalating further. However, if it weren't for their quick action, Lopez might have ended up making an unexpected trip to the hospital. The incident was captured on social media, with fans and pundits alike speculating on what could have caused such a heated reaction. Was it mere trash talk, or was there something deeper between these two? To understand this explosive encounter, we need to delve into the personalities involved. Lopez has never shied away from criticizing others, and he's been vocal about his desire to fight Crawford. Fighting Crawford at 154 sounds good to me, Lopez said in a previous interview. We're going to see what happens next. I'll go up to 154 because I want to step up and truly confront greatness. However, Crawford, the reigning king of the welterweight division, is on an entirely different level. He's beaten the best of the best and isn't easily rattled until now. Lopez has built a reputation for picking fights with everyone from Ryan Garcia to Devin Haney. Pursuing Crawford, however, is a different game. There is a significant weight class difference between them, and this matchup would require Lopez to move up to 154 pounds to face the undisputed champion. Yet, Lopez seems undeterred by this challenge. I'll step up to 154. My division has new faces, and I'm ready to take on anyone, he proclaimed. But it's not just about weight, it's about skill, stamina, and experience. And in those areas, Crawford has a clear edge. If Lopez does decide to move up in weight to challenge Crawford, it will not be without its difficulties. Packing on extra pounds can slow a fighter down, affect stamina, and alter the power behind their punches. On the other hand, Crawford has already proven his dominance at 147 pounds, and he is known for his ability to adapt and counter any opponent. For Lopez, this fight could either be his rise to glory or his greatest downfall. So what exactly caused this public altercation? It seems that Lopez, always one to stir the pot, got a bit too personal with his jabs at Crawford. According to witnesses, Lopez's words went beyond mere trash talk, striking a nerve with Crawford. The undefeated champ, usually composed, reached his breaking point. Some say Lopez's comments about Crawford's family were the final straw. Lopez has been calling me out for a long time, Crawford said afterward. He's all talk. I had to show him I'm not here for games. Meanwhile, Lopez didn't back down. Fighting Crawford would be the biggest fight of my career. He knows I'm a threat, he remarked after the incident. I'm not afraid of him or anyone in this sport. The war of words continued, adding more fuel to the fire. The boxing community was abuzz with opinions, speculating on whether these two would actually step into the ring to settle their differences. Adding to the drama, Crawford's trainer also made some remarks that shocked many fans. Lopez talks too much, he said. He used to be a modest kid, but now he's letting his mouth run wild. Let's see if he can back it up in the ring. These comments only served to intensify the growing tension between the two camps. Lopez's team was quick to respond, warning Crawford that picking this fight would be a mistake. It'll be the worst decision of his career, they stated. But is that just talk, or does Lopez genuinely believe he can defeat one of boxing's greatest? On paper, the fight between Crawford and Lopez doesn't make much sense. One is a welterweight champion, while the other has been dominating the lightweight division. But crazier things have happened in boxing. Fighters have shifted positions to settle disputes before, and this could be another instance where personal animosity drives them to cross weight divisions. From a financial perspective, this matchup could be a promoter's dream. Imagine the pay-per-view numbers. Fans would flock to see these two fighters settle their differences once and for all. Yet there's a flip side. Throwing a punch outside the ring doesn't just risk one's reputation, it can lead to legal trouble. Lopez's team could file charges, and Crawford could face penalties from the Boxing Commission. Things could get messy quickly, tarnishing the legacy of one of the sport's greatest fighters. However, those who know Crawford well say that he's not the kind to involve the law in such matters. Crawford is a man who settles things in the ring, one insider noted. He's not going to press charges, he'll want to handle this the old-fashioned way. So, what's next? Will Lopez really step up to face